Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours over the last 20 years to Italy, Spain, and soon Napa. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our second season, and our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture to all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. So sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Welcome, everyone, and thanks again for listening to our podcast, Inspiring Living. Welcome to Season 2, and today I have a very fun podcast featuring the very energetic and uber-talented photographer, Carrie Evans. We just finished recording this podcast late on a Tuesday evening here at the Candelaria Design offices, and what a great time we had. Starting, of course, with a little bolognese in our Candelaria Design kitchen, some vino, and then some podcasting. So stay tuned. You will love her story. We keep zooming through September, and our Candelaria Design team is now in week 28 of working from home. Thanks to all of you who tuned in to our Candelaria Design cooking class last weekend on Instagram Live, where my Isabel made her delicious butternut squash red chili chicken enchiladas. Happy birthday to my Isabel, and I want to send a special thank you to two of my dear friends, Russell and Erica Dickey, for hosting us in their beautiful home this past Sunday for Isabel's birthday. Wow, I tell you what, they hired Chef Simone Lauren, who cooked a dinner that was off the charts. And she was so fun. It was great to be in the kitchen with her and not have to be cooking, just to watch and listen and ask her questions. And what a delightful person she is. So I definitely encourage you to follow her on Instagram, Chef Simone Lauren. You'll find her there. We were supposed to try and record a podcast with the Dickies, but we just had too much fun and had too much wine. And, well, we have to try for the fourth time now to record our podcast with them. Every time we get together with them, we just end up having way too much fun. So we'll get this podcast done eventually. My daughter Tiffany and I are off to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho this week to visit my daughter Bella, who has been working all summer at Discovery Land Company's Gaza Ranch, where she is wrapping things up. And so we wanted to go see her while she's still there. I used to have a second home there for many years, and I've designed several homes there in the Coeur d'Alene area. It's a very, very special place for me. We will also be recording a fun podcast there with my good friend and amazing chef, Angelo Brunson from Angelo's in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So that should be a lot of fun, too. And, of course, we'll have dinner there. I think we're shooting for Saturday night and go to the farmer's market Saturday morning. And I'm just looking forward to spending a little fall seasonal time there in northern Idaho. Okay, next Tuesday we will start our virtual Candelaria Design Tour Italy. Send us your email and sign up for our virtual Italy tour starting Tuesday, September 29th and running until my 60th birthday on October 13th, where we will all virtually celebrate from Lake Como, where we were supposed to celebrate. But with the travel restrictions to Italy, we will just have to do it virtually. But now you can all join in the fun. So get on board with that. We will send you an email each day with content from each day of the tour, had we done the actual tour. Okay? We will have plenty on social media, too, so we will make the best out of not being able to go this year. So climb on board. We're all going to take you on a little tour to Italy. Okay, I want to give a big thank you to all of you who have been listening to our podcast as our listeners keep growing organically And we had another amazing month of downloads last month, so thank you so much. Thank you also for the ratings and reviews. I really appreciate those. And here's the deal. I really encourage you to give us a review. The first review we get dated September 23rd or later will receive a free Candelaria collection pasta maker. So give us some love on those ratings and reviews, and that pasta maker will be on its way. We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course with our Candelaria design homes. Okay, have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Okay, here we go. Okay, I am very, very excited tonight. I am with an amazing artist, photographer, woman. This gal really caught my attention the first time she ever photographed me. And I think we're pretty good friends, but we never have time to socialize because we're also damn busy. But she is an amazing person. She's photographed me and my partners several times for different magazines. It's Carrie Evans, and you were born here, right?
Yes.
In Arizona.
Scottsdale-native, yep.
Yep, okay, good. And your work can currently be found in Modern Luxury Scottsdale Magazine, Institute Magazine UK, Phoenix Magazine, Phoenix Home and Garden, Obscurae, did I say it right?
Yes.
See, I asked 3 times and I still wasn't sure. Obscurae Magazine in Hong Kong, and Veux Magazine in Toronto, amongst others. When she's not taking photos, she's traveling, scuba diving, and practicing yoga. You're obviously practicing yoga. I am not. I need to practice more yoga and eat less bolognese, which I just fed you.
That sounds like more fun anyways.
Right? So welcome.
Thank you so much, Mark, for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity to hang out outside of work. I'm actually I don't have a camera around my neck.
Isn't that nice? You have headphones and a microphone in your hand instead.
I like it.
So here we are. We're at our office. We're recording here in my personal office today. We got here. I fixed up a little leftover bolognese from last night, some little fresh bread from one of my employees. He made his own fresh bread, and some shishito peppers, a little glass of wine. So not a bad way to start, right?
We're definitely ready.
We're definitely ready. All right. So I am trying to remember the first time I met you, and I can't remember the shoot specifically. I don't know if it was the Lange house.
The villas at
Mountain Shadows,
I believe. Yeah, it was the very first location where we met for the Modern Man feature.
Oh, yeah. I was wearing the yellow pants.
Yes.
And my blue blazer. I remember that now. That was a lot of fun. And we've done several. We just did a really fun one, didn't we?
Yes. For the,
upcoming issue of Modern Man in Phoenix Modern Scottsdale Luxury Magazine.
That's right. So the October issue of Modern Luxury Scottsdale, the Modern Man feature. So, and that was at 6:15 in the morning.
That's right. Nice. That was almost midday for me.
Yeah, midday for you.
I was almost ready for a martini.
But you definitely, we got that shot quickly, and because it was just, right place, right time of the day, you climbing up on the wall on the fountain, and that was the shot that we got. I was happy with it. I was pretty nervous, to be honest with you. I mean, my mind still thinks I'm 20, but my body is definitely not 20 anymore. To get up on that wall with the prickly bougainvilleas poking up my butt, holy cow, that was pretty crazy. Maybe we can show the behind-the-scenes video on the website.
Yeah.
Because that was
we should
do
that
see as well.
That was a lot of fun. And that's what I always love working with you. You always think out of the box, which I think is great as an artist. I always know when I photograph with you, it's going to be something creative and unusual and different, but still very beautiful, very sophisticated. You've got this great way of combining those elements into something that's interesting, but still has a very classy aspect to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Thank
cool.
You.
So you were born here. You're an Arizona native.
That's right.
And you grew up right here in Scottsdale.
That's right. Yeah, 124th and Shea.
124th and Shea. And what I understand is my partner Evelyn is married to Scott Jung, and you went to school with him in high school.
I did.
Where was high school?
Desert Mountain High School.
Desert Mountain High School. So see how these things all come full circle in time?
It does.
Isn't that crazy?
It's been a couple decades since I've seen Scott.
Yeah, he's here quite often. But you know Evelyn quite well.
Yes.
So that's pretty neat. So we'll have to get everyone together for dinner and have a little reunion.
I would love that.
How's that sound? Okay, so from high school here in Scottsdale, you went to the U of A. You're an Arizona Wildcat.
That's right.
Okay, I'm a Sun Devil, so
Bear down.
Oh, no. Go Sparky. Okay, so you went there and you were studying fine arts.
Fine arts studies was my major. So I did a lot of digital video, photography, and thematic area in the major, which was marketing.
Okay. So you were trying to kind of keep the art but get into the business side a little bit, sounds like.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That was
so
the plan.
it was a 4-year program there.
4-year program, yep.
And then what?
So after that, during college, I decided that I wanted to go into the advertising world.
Okay.
Again, with the business and the artistic side of me together, I felt that advertising would be a great field for me to
Pay the
get
bills.
into. Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to be an art director, which means you work with a creative team, a writer, coming up with ideas for ad campaigns. It was really appealing to me at the time. I thought it was such a really cool way to be creative, but, still, not be starving completely.
Right.
Starving artist.
So then you went and got a master's degree, is that right?
Yes. So I ventured on to Richmond, Virginia, and went to VCU, Virginia.
So how do you go from U of A to Virginia? How did you make that switch?
So in order to get a great job in the advertising industry, you need to go to a portfolio school.
Okay.
So there's so many of them out there. Miami Ad School, VCU Brand Center, that are really, really well known, that have some of the best teachers, mentors. So VCU Brand Center was #1 at the time and #1 on my list. So I applied and used my final project at U of A to create a series of ads as my entry into applying to get into VCU Brand Center. When I found out I got in, that was it. Like no questions. I didn't even go to Richmond to look at the city. It was like I picked up and got a U-Haul trailer and
off you went.
Drove cross country with my cousin, and I was in Richmond, Virginia for 2 years and got a master's degree in mass communications and was in the art direction track. And they take 24 people per track: creative writing, art direction, brand strategy, and media were the 4 tracks at the time. So after that, I came back to Scottsdale, worked on my portfolio, and then I got a job at an advertising agency in Las Vegas.
Wow.
About 3 months after graduation.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty quick.
That was, it was either an ad agency in Vegas or an ad agency in Kentucky.
No. Vegas sounds a little more exciting. So how old were you at this time?
At the time, let's see, that was 2006. I was 25.
25. So 25, heading to Vegas.
Heading to
Wow.
Vegas. Yep, another U-Haul truck. Here we go. So I was there for 5 years, and I worked at an ad agency there with a writer, and we worked on the Las Vegas tourism account and came up with ideas for the existing campaign, the famous tagline, "What happens here stays here." That was
I remember that.
their big account there. So we worked on, for years, different campaigns for them. And if we sold an idea, we'd go to LA and do the whole production of all of it. So we did TV and print. It was just great to see your idea come to life on TV nationwide.
Right.
That was like the goal that I wanted to achieve. And
So how long were you there?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So during that time working in advertising, I had the opportunity to work with so many amazing photographers that just was a constant reminder, being on set, like, this is my real passion, and seeing how they work and seeing how they ran their business. I shadowed a couple of them, like, outside of work, so I got to kind of see how they made, like, their real dream come to life. And I was just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I could do this, But how? How am I going to do this?
How am I going to make this transition?
Exactly. So the agency I worked for had an office in Scottsdale. So I ended up coming back here with the idea of reconnecting with a lot of people that I grew up with, and started going to... I ended up going to a few bridal shows because the wedding market really interested me, and I found a few photographers in the Scottsdale area that I really respected and ended up shadowing them on weddings. I had never been to a wedding in my life. I was only like At that time, now it was, I guess I was 29. But I just love the idea of it. I love the quickness of it all, and just, it's nonstop. I work really well under pressure.
Yeah.
And just, it's fun for me. I love it.
I could have been a repeating client for you.
Oh my God.
You should have met me like 20 years ago, or almost 40 years ago. You could have shot a lot of weddings with me.
No more weddings for
no,
you,
No,
Mark.
I'm done. Trust me. So you loved weddings, though.
I did, and I still do. When I started my business, I was doing about 15 weddings a year. Now
Wow.
I do about 5. Since I moved.
So what
into
was it
different
about
things.
weddings? I mean, just the beauty of them, and the people.
The beauty, and just the brides letting you just take total creative freedom and
Right.
doing some different things with lighting and kind of shooting them more like a fashion editorial, and just making these people feel so special
So
on this day.
Did you learn photography by trial and error, or did you take classes in photography?
Undergrad
you
at
did
U of
some.
A. So many nights in the dark room. I mean,
All
old
right.
school film.
Yeah. So you know
I
the
learned.
old way.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
I would actually process negatives in my apartment in a little tank with the lights off.
This is before all digital, then.
Yeah, well, digital was out,
Oh, it was
but
already out. Okay.
I'm not that old. No, I'm just kidding. So digital was already out, but I really wanted to go and do photography for what it was, and,
Right.
and experience and learn from
Yeah.
what it became
Yep.
or
Interesting.
how it started. Anyway, so I would develop the negatives in my apartment, then I would take the negatives and go into a dark room and actually make prints, and you'd see these prints come to life in the dark room
Wow,
with all the
that's so
chemicals
cool.
and all of that.
I remember all that. I was a sports editor in my newspaper.
Oh, really?
And they used to do that. They had the whole photography lab there. And I
Oh
never
my
did it, but I would
gosh.
peek in there once in a while. It was really fascinating.
Yeah.
So there's a whole science to that, isn't it?
There's a
How much of
lot
that
of science.
How much
to
of that
it.
carries over into the digital world?
Well, a lot of the terms are the same. I mean, when you have an image on the enlarger, the machine
Mhm.
that will project it onto the blank paper.
Right.
You can make things darker or lighter, dodging and burning. Well,
Mhm.
there's a dodge and burn tool now in
Yep.
Photoshop, but in the darkroom, you would use a piece of paper or your hand,
Right.
or even maybe
So
like
the underlying idea is the same. It's just the
concept's
methodology
the
of getting
same.
there is
Mhm.
different.
Execution's different now.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's all about, speed and instant gratification. So when you shoot, you have so many options for people. You don't have to wait to process them. And
Right.
it's actually really expensive to do that too if you're dealing with images, large number of images.
Right.
So
So you're photographing weddings. You're starting
Shooting
to
weddings.
do a few of those. I got a little
Yeah.
off target there because
That's okay.
it's so interesting.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so the weddings. And then after that, I started getting connected with the magazines here in town.
Okay.
Because, again, it's like I always have so many ideas. I'm never short of ideas. And it's like, okay, I love weddings, but I came from advertising. I love photographing people. I love, what I did back in the advertising world.
Yep.
So I wanted to get into editorial. So then I ended up, I met a few people at Tempe Camera.
Oh yeah, Tempe Camera is awesome.
I love everybody there so much.
I don't know everybody there, but I've been there a few times, and they are so helpful and so knowledgeable. And I've traded. I've got a potential dinner trade for some camera classes, so I got to take. I got to take
Oh.
advantage of that.
Yeah, you need
So,
to. Yeah, they're great.
They're great.
A couple of the people that worked there did some work with Phoenix Magazine and got me connected with some of the art directors over there, Brian Goddard, Morella Inglefield. She's awesome. And then, one thing led to another. I'm shooting for Phoenix Magazine now. So that's how that started. And
Yep.
then once I got more
So
editorial.
you're freelancing. You're paying your bills with the revenue that you're making from shooting your photography, your pictures, right?
100%.
You're on your own.
Yeah. It took a couple years to get
Yeah.
to that point.
Is it hard?
Yeah, it definitely is hard, but you have to just always believe in,
What
the
you're
idea
doing.
and what you're doing, and know that you can do it. You made this crazy jump from having a very secure job.
Right.
In 2008, they laid off so many people at the
Oh,
agency.
yeah.
I still had my job, and then 2 years later, I quit. I mean, that's pretty gutsy.
I bet you some people thought you were crazy.
Yeah, some did, but it's like now or never,
Yep.
I had it in me. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I came back. And then it took a couple years. So I stayed with the agency for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started doing weddings on the side, like on the weekends, you know, in between pitching or whatever we were doing with the agency. It was always nonstop with that. So I didn't really sleep much. I still don't. But so that's how I was able to start building a small client list to have enough revenue to then go off completely and do photography full time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
then you have a. I've been to your studio at your house.
Yeah.
Right? And do you still work out of there?
I do sometimes. So I used to have a studio off of 136th and Shea. I was doing a lot of boudoir photography, which...
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah. Women in lingerie or whatever it is they want to wear. Just a totally different style of shooting. So I had a really big studio that accommodated all my lights.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, I realized a lot of my clients wanted to be photographed in their home.
Mm-hmm.
They felt more comfortable in their home. So I ended up getting rid of that studio space. And when we shot with you and Isabel, that was my house. And every once in a while, you know, I don't shoot a ton in there, headshots occasionally, but everything is on location. I am totally mobile. All of my lights I can pack up and take, whether that just be simple speed lights or
you have to be mobile.
All of my huge, the strobe lights, the whole kit and caboodle, everything. I mean, it can all fit in my car. And, you know, sometimes I'll have an assistant help me carry everything in.
Well, I'm trying to remember why we picked you to shoot the shots that you did of Isabel during her chemotherapy. And I remember we had a discussion, Isabel and I, and we kept talking about who has captured us the best of all the photographers. Not that there's a ton, but you know, of the ones that we've had the privilege of getting some photos with. And your name came up simultaneously with both of us. At the same time, we both said, well, I like Carrie Evans. And I remember saying it almost like instantaneously.
Aww.
And we're like, okay, that's it. Let's get her set up. And that was a very special moment for the two of us. I mean, that particular day, what it signified for us, the photos, I've got one right here in the office. We're looking at it. You know, for me, it's just it's a moment that you captured that was so pivotal in our battle, her battle. I mean, I was just an observer. And, you know, to watch her go through that, and virtually from that photograph moment on, it's like everything kind of changed. It was like, you know, from there we started coming back. She started, you know, everything just kind of changed from that moment. And I'm just so happy that we have that moment perpetuated on film, you know.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know if I ever told you that.
Things like that.
No, it's amazing. We look at that picture all the time, and I love having it here in my office because, you know, it reminds me of several things. It reminds me that you never can quit. You can never give up. There's always hope. There's always faith, and love is just so powerful, you know. And so
can get you through anything.
Get you through anything.
Yeah.
And I know none of us get out of here alive. We all know that. There is an end. There is an end for all of us, and none of us have any way of knowing it. But
we all have a number on our back.
Yeah. But that was a great moment, and all those photos. And one of my favorite photos was I love the photo I took of you taking the pictures of her.
Oh yes.
And I don't know have I given you that picture?
I have a couple of them. Yes.
Yeah, that was very cool because to me it again captured that moment of you, the artist, capturing her in that moment.
And the whole scene too, pulled back, seeing the backdrop and everything. And at one point, it was just Isabel too. Remember, the flowers that were on the island. She said, "Oh, let me hold the flowers. There were these pink roses. They were beautiful."
It was
those
great work.
Shots of her just alone were incredible. They say so much, you know.
Yeah, no, it was very brave of you to do that for us.
Well, thank you for having me be a part of it.
It was hard.
Yeah.
So that work is awesome. So I want to know about some of your work. I mean, you've done some amazing stuff. So I want to hear a little bit more of what fascinates you, what intrigues you. What are some of the things that you're working on now that you find really interesting? And where do you see yourself going with all of this?
Yeah.
I told you I go off the script sometimes.
Yeah, no, I like it. I do too. I do the same thing when I'm on shoots too.
Yeah,
I have an
start
idea.
feeling it, you know?
Yep, I have a plan, I have an idea, and then, you know, when the subject shows up, and the music goes, things can evolve.
Yeah.
So now where I'm at, I do weddings still. I've in the last 3 years really have been shooting corporate events. A lot of corporate events. which pretty much
Yeah, we'll talk about the
disappeared.
whole COVID thing. I mean, how's the COVID thing affected you? Quite a bit, right?
It has, yeah. So my corporate events and the weddings, I had 8 events total this year cancel. But again, I shoot so many different genres,
Right.
and it's not just the events. Again, I feel with 2020, people have been just reevaluating their lives and wanting to redo parts of their lives and their homes and their websites. So I've been doing a lot of content shoots for
Good.
business owners in the area here. So I'm grateful to still be working. There
Right.
was a couple months where I wasn't really doing anything, but I feel you just have to accept things and not
Observe.
get down, observe,
Figure out where
and
it's going.
It's okay if you're not inspired every day. I'm not, but there's a lot of things that I want to do outside of photography.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's another fascinating part of your life is you love to travel, and you just came back from a trip to Mexico you were just telling me about.
Yeah, so during the first shutdown, the world shutdown, I started studying more about scuba diving. I am a certified open water diver. I have been since '99.
Wow.
But I wanted to step up my skills a little bit, and I sure did, because I ended up going and diving in Lake Pleasant, out of all places, to get my advanced open water diving.
I can only imagine what you found down there.
You can dive in Lake Pleasant. You can dive anywhere. It was the most, it was atrocious. I mean, it was the visibility. I couldn't even see you right now if we were down there. 1 foot visibility.
Wow, that's kind of creepy.
It was creepy. They actually they say they planted skeletons down there, like little fake ones, but I think they were real. We came across a few. I took some pictures. But the whole purpose of that was to...
You thought I was exaggerating with what you'd find down there.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Couple skeletons playing poker.
There you go.
It's an algae bloom right now, so everything's green, and it was terrible. However, the reason why I really wanted to challenge myself, and that was definitely a challenge. I had my compass, and I was able to navigate the dive master and myself back to the buoy where he put it. So if you and Isabel ever went diving with me and we got lost, I probably could find our way back.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, I just got back from Tulum. I did some of the most amazing dives I've ever experienced.
So where's Tulum? That's not by Lake Pleasant, right?
Oh, yeah. No. So
Okay. Tulum is where?
This is the Caribbean.
Oh, the Caribbean.
Baby.
That's a lot better.
Yes.
This is sounding better.
This is the Yucatan Peninsula. We flew into Cancun, and it's about an hour and a half drive south to Tulum. Sam and I went together. It was fantastic. So the cenotes, they're known for their cenotes, which is all the caves out there.
Oh, okay,
it's,
cool.
And it's fresh water, too, and sometimes the salt water will come in anyway. So I went cave diving.
How was that?
Absolutely bizarre and so beautiful and amazing.
So you were talking about the light.
Yeah, so some of the parts, you're totally submerged completely underneath the rock. So if you had to exit, you're going to have to turn around and go back.
Yeah, one way in and one way out.
Exactly. But it's safe. There's always, you can see in the distance, there's light that pours in from the top of these rocks. So,
it's like a little oculus of light that comes pouring through. And that just probably casts some unique ray.
And just the way it would shine on the plants and the rocks. It was just so cool just to sit there and just float along and just look,
Then you take like this underwater camera.
The first one
that?
I didn't. I need to. That's my next toy. I need to get a decent underwater camera. I have a GoPro. I really don't like it. It shoots okay video, and I can take some screen grabs from it. But other than that, it's like worthless to me. It's too small.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I used the GoPro, and I would just shoot some video, and you just float along. It's such a different experience. Nothing else matters when you're down there. You're just weightless. You're floating. It's probably similar to being in space.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's so calm. You just hear the bubbles of your
breathing.
Yeah, breathing. And if you're in
Do you
the
see
open,
any fish?
Well, in the caves you don't really. So this is more architectural.
Gotcha.
Mark, I think you'd actually like it.
That's cool.
It felt like I was floating through the Colosseum or something. I mean, because it's all the limestone.
Yeah.
And all these rock formations. Yeah, and at one point it looked like just giant candle wax coming from the top and the bottom. The stalagmites and the stalactites.
Interesting.
Create these just amazing shapes and patterns. And
you were just there a couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
So you flew into Mexico. I was asking about this, about the COVID thing. It's like The flight was full.
Business as usual for the airlines, I think.
In Mexico.
And yeah, well, the flights were full, yeah.
Interesting. And then what about coming back? How was it difficult coming back?
No, actually,
No?
we took my dog.
You flew through Miami, or
So we flew through Miami. Yep, Miami, and then into Tulum, and then.
so when you got off the plane in Miami from Mexico, they didn't make you take your temperature? Or?
Oh, they take temperature. Sorry, I
Okay.
mean business as usual, meaning like I guess when you're on the plane, it didn't feel that different.
Right.
I mean, it was.
I was just wondering what the
People.
protocol it was when you come back from another foreign country into this country, if they did anything.
Just temperatures. That's it.
Yeah,
Ask
that's
you a
it.
few questions if you've been exposed to anybody who had COVID. I mean,
How do you know?
just very generic. Yeah, you don't know.
I was just with a
So-
client this evening, and he just flew back from Budapest,
Oh, really?
and they got special permits because they're athletes.
Okay.
So they were able to go to Budapest and come back in a week.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, definitely there's places you aren't able to really travel easily, but
No, but you love to
Mexico,
travel.
I do.
So what's some of your favorite places you've been to?
So I love New Orleans, and if we're going to talk about the U.S. first, New Orleans,
I love New
and
Orleans,
surprisingly,
you know, great
Florida's
architecture, great
awesome.
food.
But we'll move on from that. Colombia. Is an
Okay, we were just talking about that
incredible country.
last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're Sunday night. We were talking
Yeah.
with friends, and they were all saying we need to all go to Colombia. Like it's amazing now.
Colombia, Medellin, and
Yeah.
Bogota. Just the culture, the people,
Hmm.
the architecture, everything. It's just, I really enjoyed
So
it. We
when were you
for a week.
there?
I was there. Two separate trips. It was around Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and then I came back again that following March.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
So everyone
you can
gets
go-
freaked out by the drug cartels and the
Oh
murders.
my God,
and
that's such old news.
It's really old news?
Yeah, it's so silly. They have these like Escobar tours.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's so stupid. I mean, you don't need to. I mean, there's places in Phoenix
That
I
are
wouldn't
more
go.
dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you just have to be smart wherever you go, and it's not.
Yeah.
The people are so friendly, and
I mean, don't you
I
find
never
that?
felt concerned ever, even
don't you
out
find
late
that
at
about
night.
the majority of the places, at least the majority of places I've been, if you just get with the people, most of the people are so nice, so friendly. They want you to love their country. And
They
if you just
do.
show an ounce of appreciation for their food, wine, culture, whatever it is, they go crazy. They love you.
I agree, and I feel like, and I've said this before on my travels, everyone is the same wherever you go. I mean, and that's why when I travel,
Yeah.
I like to spend at least a week
We were talking
or
about that
2
earlier.
weeks in a place, because you really, there's days where I don't like to plan. I plan
Right.
so much with my work and my business. When I go, there's days I just
Go
want to go
explore.
sit in a cafe and just sit and watch people.
Isn't that
And
great?
you really just realize, even if they're speaking in another language, you kind of know what they're saying, their body language. They're just like, we're all the same. Everyone's
all
the
the
same.
same.
We all want the same thing, you know?
Yeah, that's why I always tell people, I say, like, if we could just get everyone around the dinner table more often,
Exactly.
and just like what we just did, just have a little food, a little wine, and
Yeah.
just realize, you know what? We're all on this earth together. It's pretty damn hard as it is. And why
Absolutely.
do we need to make it harder?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, let's just all get along and figure this out.
It's a pretty simple concept,
Pretty simple,
Mark.
right? So, I want to know a little bit about the challenges as a photographer and as your career. What have been some of your challenges? I mean, have you? Would you say that your career has just been a breeze? It's just been so easy, and it just all fell in your lap, and blah 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 blah, right?
No, that is not the case.
It's not the case, right? It takes a lot of effort and work, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I loved every moment of it. However, 24/7. If you're starting a business, a small business, you're doing everything.
You're doing
You know,
everything.
The
You're
marketing,
keeping the books.
keeping
You're paying the
books,
bills.
the bills, the photographing, the editing, the IT, the sales, the just calls,
Yeah, it's
everything.
everything.
It's nonstop, and I want it that way. I
So do you have?
don't
a
have
person
any
that-
employees.
You don't have any employees. You
No.
do it all.
Except the web development.
Okay.
Yeah, the web development and the SEO marketing. I have a fantastic John Prunty doing all of my web work, and other than that, I'm fine with handling it all. The challenges I think that you're asking about, I guess, would have to be. It just really depends. I shoot so many different things. People want different things. It's more about people wanting things really fast.
Yeah.
Hey, I want this amazing editorial photo of me, and they'll show me like 20 Pinterest photos.
Of
They're
what
like,
they want.
let's do all this. Like, and they maybe just want an hour session with me or something.
Right.
And you have to. you have to educate people. And it's fine. Just take a minute and explain, like, look, these photos you're showing me right now, like, these were elaborate setups. You've got probably 5 lights on the subject. Like, this is going to take more than an hour,
right.
you know? I mean,
but people don't understand
They don't understand that. Well, let's just do it, or you can just, like, edit it later in Photoshop. It's like, no. I like to get it in camera, you know, maybe a little digital surgery after if needed, if wanted or requested.
Yeah, but if you have it captured perfectly from the start, it makes all those other subsequent phases of editing so much easier.
It does,
right?
and
so you got to put the work into getting that original shot just right.
It's like 90% setup, 10% shooting execution, and people also need to understand that my job does not end after the session. After you guys go home,
it's just starting.
So I go home. Back in the office in the studio, uploading the photos, getting them ready for a gallery, and then the editing begins. You know, a lot of, depending on what I'm shooting, some images don't need to be retouched, but a lot of them do, and that's adds on another 10 hours. 12,
I remember when you shot me, I had my flaps on my shirt collar unbuttoned. Remember that? And you fixed that really pretty damn good.
And that's when sometimes I will bring someone on set just to have an extra set of eyes to look
your
at stuff
eyes
like
are
that.
good. I've watched you, and you're watching all those little details.
The first time we shot, I kept rearranging the pillows. Remember that? And you're like,
you're good.
Wow, we should work together because the attention to detail.
No, it's awesome. I love that.
It's so important. But yeah, I mean, it just, again, like I said earlier, it took a couple years to have a consistent income, and when I was shooting in the beginning, I realized quickly that if I don't do weddings 100%, then I need to be able to shoot many different things.
Right.
You know?
Diversify.
I did a little bit of everything. I was photographing newborns, families. I still photograph families. I love photographing families, big families.
I would love for you to photograph my mom and dad because they're in their 80s. And I would love to have your eye capture the two of them. So we got to set that up like right away.
Okay.
I'm only interrupting you to say this because I don't want to forget. I know you'll remember. And obviously time is of the essence. God bless both of them. I hope they live forever. But I just think a shot of the two of them at this age would just be fantastic.
I would love to do that.
So we got to set that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So in families, and then again, the corporate events, which I love. I mean, the corporate events are fun.
So tell me what a corporate event is. What do you shoot at a corporate event?
So the corporate events range from something small, like 100 people, to up to
like our Candelaria Design 20th anniversary dinner would be something you would shoot.
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. So a lot of it's mostly candids. A lot of the corporate events that I shoot, it's kind of like a wedding. You kind of know what's going to happen. You have your keynote speakers, you have your awards ceremonies, you have the cocktail hours. But what I find really interesting and cool is that everyone is there to celebrate their industry.
Yeah.
They're so passionate about it. Like, for instance...
So it was like the Sandra Wilkin event where I think you shot that, didn't you?
I shot her, the Women of Achievement.
That's it, Women of Achievement.
That was fantastic. Another client I have, ICEA. It stands for the International Cost Estimating and Analysis Association.
So how do you make that look sexy?
Oh, there's ways.
Well, I guess if you're doing the lingerie to the cost estimating convention.
Right. So these people...
How do you go from that to that?
Well, they're just passionate about math and logic, so we make it work. You'll be surprised how people, when they're together and they're passionate about presenting on their topics, they loosen up. You know, aside from the awards, they want to take some fun shots, like out and about in the town.
Yeah.
So I'll follow them around at the dinners, and we'll capture them and just having a good time. Sexy, I'm not sure if it could go that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you put the cost estimators in lingerie, that might be interesting.
Yeah. You know? A calendar, perhaps.
There you go.
I shot the Code Conference at the Phoenician. There's probably, close to maybe a couple thousand people at that one.
Wow.
There were a couple other photographers there shooting that as well.
So when you shoot an event like that, how many shots are you taking?
So I have it linked up to a computer in like in the back room, where
as you're going,
an editor's actually getting them ready for like a PowerPoint presentation or for one of their presentations at a dinner.
Wow.
So I shoot in a day, if I'm shooting, memory card is full at 1,500 images.
Okay.
A 32 gigabyte card. So I'm not, trigger happy. Like I know what
you
to
wait
look
for. The moment.
I wait, I wait for a laugh. I wait for a handshake.
So you can
high
feel
five.
it though, right?
I feel it. Yeah. And that's just, so it's not, I'm not shooting a ton. It's more just like, let's create some useful creative images for this industry.
Right.
The code conference was great. There were a lot of people from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, like just all the, big people in tech out at that one. I shot a Calibrate Ventures convention in Rancho Santa Fe, California. Jamie, who started the Ring app, or the Ring company, huge. He just sold it to Amazon.
Yep.
So it's just people like that, and that was a smaller event for different venture capitalists that come together to talk about what's up and coming in Silicon Valley and all of that. So it's always a different industry, and that inspires me because they're so excited about business, and that gets me excited.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to just ask you. What does get you excited? I mean, what are some of the things right now that you're thinking about that like really get your juices going?
It changes all the time. It all depends on who contacts me.
Do you
have ADD? It may seem like I do. But I'm getting stuff done, Mark.
Oh, I know you get stuff. I'm the same way.
I go in so many different directions.
My mind is going in a million different directions.
You know how
every
it
day.
is with style, and even you with your architect. I mean, you have a style, but you can do different.
Yeah, within the course of a day, I can switch from French traditional to ultra contemporary to mountain cabin. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and if you have, the person, your client, to spark the interest, the ideas start flowing. So if someone calls me and they want to do a shoot in the desert with their horse, and I'm thinking, okay, let's go fashion. I have a whole nother lighting setup that pops up in my mind that I want to do. Different lights that I wouldn't use for a traditional headshot or a group photo for a corporate event. It's just, I've done so many of these things. So when people say what they want, I have like immediately a vision of like where my lights are going to go, what modifiers I'm going to use, what time of day I want to shoot. Once I see the person.
How has social media and everything impacted your business? I mean, we see it in our business. Everyone thinks it's, again, the instant gratification thing. It's like, well, how soon can I have my house? I mean, I can go drive through and get my coffee, and can I pick up my plans and head out, No, it still takes a year, to design a house, or 9 months or whatever.
I know.
But everyone sees this instantaneous production.
Right.
And they think, well, I saw it on TV, on HGTV. They built the house in a week. I was like, trust me, that did not happen in a week.
Editing. Do
you see that? I mean, do you get that reaction, or do you? Or another question is, are there a lot of people that come to you for content? Like, help me create content for my business.
Absolutely.
Right?
So Instagram, for sure.
And they see the value of you taking that photo versus them snapping it with their iPhone.
Yeah, they don't want to worry about it. They're concerned about looking good. I don't know how to get the angle right on me. Right. So yeah, a lot of business owners.
It's a huge difference.
Oh, it is. I mean, yeah. That's why you hire a professional photographer.
Exactly,
and a lot of people think maybe they are a photographer because everyone has a camera in their hand every day, or a camera in their pocket, their iPhone.
Yep.
But it's really about the angling, the lighting, and just creating a story, that's believable, that people will buy into, know. So a lot of people here in town that have different businesses have wanted to create these content libraries that I've been shooting for. So we'll do 10 outfits, and so they have content for days.
That's interesting. So just content libraries.
Content libraries, yeah.
That's
lately.
Cool.
Yep.
I like that. So you've met some interesting people over the course of your career, and you've photographed. And I know in my business there's a lot of privacy and a lot of NDAs. You can't talk about this, but you can probably give us a few interesting projects or people that you photographed over the years.
There's so many. I guess the most kind of bizarre and most fun and exhilarating photo shoot I've ever done. Okay, the assignment was for Phoenix Magazine. We were shooting at the Gila River Arena. Rob Halford of Judas Priest.
Oh, wow.
2-page spread on him. The description of the assignment was, we have 5 minutes backstage before he goes on to perform. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So already I'm like, just thinking about all the music videos that I'd watched growing up of him, and just, he's a metal god.
Right.
I mean, just such an incredible opportunity. I get to the arena, I'm backstage, I'm setting up all my lights. I know I only have 5 minutes. So he comes out in this awesome just leather getup with the chains, and we're shooting up against this grate, this metal grate thing, kind of where all the crew was hanging out. We really didn't have any time to go scout or anything.
Right.
I showed up with my lights. I'm like, okay, lights are ready. bring him out. We're ready. So I photographed him. I could hear the crowd roaring. And the show's about to start. So we're doing this.
So your
photo
adrenaline's
shoot.
going nuts,
Yeah,
right?
and it was so fun because he was so good and so cool. He couldn't hear me. He had his earphones in because he was earplugs in, ready to go on stage.
Ready to go. Yep.
So I'm just like signing and directing and using my face and using my body to like explain what I wanted him to do. And he nailed it. We were done in 1 minute, 17 seconds.
That's amazing. That's nothing. That's super fast.
Because I knew what I wanted to get from him, and we were just so connected for that moment. And then after that, he went off, got on
and he's
stage.
probably done it before, so he knew how to do it.
Absolutely. And it was an awesome spread in the magazine. Then I ended up going into the pit after and shot the whole concert. And
wow.
That was so cool.
That's
cool. So fun.
That's cool.
And again, just like even when it's not something like that, I think they're all interesting because especially like some of my private clients just they share so much about their life,
right?
You know? And that's so important for me before I shoot. I like to know about the people. And if I don't have an opportunity to talk to them,
you want to be able to tell the story through your photos.
Yeah. So I look them up. I'll do a little research on my own, but you don't really fully get an authentic representation of the person until you talk to them. So, you know, everyone has a story, you know, and I try to show that through my work.
So I have 3 daughters. Okay.
Yeah.
My oldest is now working with me. You kind of met her through emails and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very interesting to watch their careers blossom. I've got one that's 15, it's going to Xavier. I got one that's 18, that's up in Idaho and coming back, trying to figure out what to go to college and what to do. And so I'm just curious, given what you've chosen to do, you know, we talked about some of the struggles and things.
Yeah.
I'm sure it hasn't always been easy.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been some ups and downs. What do you do? What works for you to carry you through some of those tough times? What has been your mantra to get you through some of those stuff? Because it's never always easy, right?
No, it's not.
You've had your share,
it's still
right?
not. I mean, I've had my share, and I think what you have to do is just take a time out for yourself.
Yeah.
Go sit down. I know this sounds crazy. Go sit outside in your backyard or somewhere and just sit on your back. Lay on your back, look up to the sky, and just meditate.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I mean, I'm really into that, and I know some people think, "Oh, that's so silly. What do you mean? Just sit there?" Well, just don't and put your phone in the other room. Like, just disconnect for a minute, you know. And maybe it's not just sitting outside. Maybe it's just reading a book.
Go for a hike.
Go for a hike. I mean,
I
love diving when I can. I won't be going back to Lake Pleasant, but you know, if I need to take some time. Something athletic, or just
do you like yoga,
simply
right?
reading. I love yoga. I love just reading.
What do you like to read?
Stories about people.
You like biographies?
Yeah,
I'm a big biography person too.
Yeah, I'm not really as much into the novels as much.
I've never been a novel
so
reader.
interested in just people's lives. I mean, I'm not into sports at all, but I'll read. I mean, if someone has a story to tell, I'm glued to it. And so, but I think it's just. You know, you have your people to talk to, but just remember, just believe in yourself. You're doing this for a reason. It's never going to be easy for something great to happen.
That's exactly right, right?
Yeah.
Takes effort. Takes a lot of work.
A lot of effort, and you have to be willing to put in the work.
And you don't sleep.
I mean, I try. I take naps.
Yeah, you take power naps, right?
Exactly.
That's
you know what that's
do.
all about. I'm up.
Totally.
I'm in bed, like, trying to figure out why I can't sleep. I'm looking at Instagram. Mark Candelaria is up sketching.
We're podcasting at 8 o'clock right now in the evening.
Exactly.
On a what night is it? Is it Tuesday? Tuesday night.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But then I'll find you early morning at like 4 sketching. I'm like, that's so good. That's great. I love that.
Yep. Just keep it going. That's what I learned. Is just keep going, because if you just keep producing and working and driving yourself, you never know where the journey might take you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it changes.
That's what I love.
The journey will take you.
It'll take you.
And you learn things all the time. Every shoot I do, I learn something about myself, something about my equipment, something about people in general.
It's endless learning.
Endless.
Right?
And you have to be open to it. You have to be open-minded. You can't be, oh, that didn't go as well as I thought. You know, learn
or
from
I know
something.
everything. I don't need to learn anything.
Nope.
I feel just the opposite. Like the older I get and the more I think I'm learning, the more I just go, oh, I need to learn more about that. I need to learn more about that. I need to learn more. It's endless.
Yeah, the arrogance will not get you anywhere. That's
I don't get the
not
arrogance.
an option if you want to be successful. It'll eventually take you down.
So another thing that we've talked about is cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand you love to cook.
I do. Yes.
Can you tell me your mom is Czechoslovakian and Italian background?
Yeah,
That's
yes.
interesting.
So my mom's mother is Czechoslovakian,
Okay.
and her father Italian from Palermo.
Palermo.
And that's our next trip we want to plan is to go to Sicily.
That's when on our Candelaria tours.
Oh my gosh.
We're talking about that in 2023.
Oh my God, that seems so far away.
I know, but you look how
It's
fast
coming.
the time goes by.
I know, exactly.
Have you been to Italy?
Fun. I have a few times, yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite place in Italy?
I really love Tuscany.
Yeah, it is
so peaceful and relaxing. I loved it. Just
so
the little
cooking. Back
villages.
to cooking. What do you like to cook?
Well, lately I've been experimenting with a lot of stir fries and Asian sauces. That's just, it's really fun and you can be creative, and I like spicy.
Yep.
Again, it's a creative, another outlet that I like to.
So how do you do your research in cooking?
Well, growing up with my mother taught me everything I know about.
She didn't teach you Asian.
No.
You told me she was Czech and Italian. Where's the Asian coming from?
Well, she's very creative, and she just all the cookbooks that we've had around forever, and just
like my mom.
researching stuff that I like. I probably wouldn't serve anything that I cooked only because it's super healthy. I'm trying to be somewhat healthy, but I really want to perfect a good bolognese sauce.
There you go.
With some homemade pasta. I've never actually
I will teach you how to make homemade pasta. I make good homemade pasta. Very easy. I'll give you a pasta maker on the way out.
Oh my gosh.
How's that?
What am I going to do with that?
I'm going to teach you how to make pasta.
Okay,
that's
can't
what
wait.
I'm going to do.
Yeah, so that's I love to be a part of one of your cooking.
Well, we talked about the cooking class. What would you make on my cooking class?
Well, whatever you're teaching, right? Or what is it?
Well,
Everyone can do whatever.
I want one of your recipes.
Ooh.
So think about that.
All right, I'll do my non-healthy stir fry.
There you go. Yeah, I need to learn more stir fry. So that sounds good.
Sauces are a challenge a little bit for me.
And I want to learn more
sauces.
I'm
liking what I've been doing. So that
sauces is my new thing. I really want to learn more and more sauces
because it can carry on into
all
other
kinds of things.
Types of food for sure.
Yeah. Now, do you do food photography?
I have.
Do you?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between shooting food and shooting people? Food doesn't move.
They don't talk back.
Doesn't talk back, right?
They don't show you pictures from Pinterest. No,
exactly.
No, the food. It's. I like shooting. I do a lot of natural and studio lighting with everything I do. So food, the difference, it's just finding a great background and some good light.
Mm-hmm.
You want to represent the food, and sometimes they will add chemicals to it to make it look better. But, I've done a little bit of that for a smoothie company actually.
That's
and,
interesting.
Some for Phoenix Magazine, some of the restaurants.
So have you done any webinars where you teach people photography or photography workshops or classes?
I haven't, but there is an idea there that I'm glad you brought that up.
I would love to do. I would help promote that. That's so cool.
Oh, great.
That would be very cool. Because I think there are, again, so many people that have an iPhone, have a camera. I mean, I got this great, A7 Sony camera.
Mm-hmm.
I probably know how to use 5% of its capabilities.
Yeah.
I would love to learn at least 15% of its capabilities.
Yep.
And just like you said, get me the right flash attachment. My pictures would improve dramatically.
And then you'll get excited about the pictures looking so much better that you want to learn more about it. I feel people are so intimidated by it.
Very intimidated.
It's still in the box, from Christmas or their birthday. So I've been wanting to do a workshop for a while and just teach the basics,
That's
little
cool.
history.
So what we should do, here's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a monthly workshop where we bring in Carrie Evans teaching photography. We bring in
Cool.
different artists, different people, craftspeople, talk about their craft. And we just invite 10 people, 15 people, do the workshop, have a great dinner, drink some wine.
Yeah.
Would that be fun?
I love that idea.
Let's do
I
that.
think that's great. And I think especially during these times.
That's why I was keeping it 10 to 15. So we're in the number zone that we're safe.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
Against social distance. But yeah, I think it's something that people could get excited about, and take a break a little bit from all the chaos that's going on and perhaps spark a new interest
Desire,
or a
hobby, art.
hobby, and you can practice on your kids and your family, and it's just learning the basics, and you want to learn manual.
Yeah.
Take it off of auto.
Yeah.
That's where the creativity starts, on manual. Yeah.
I like
so.
that. And that's kind of with life too, right?
Get
off the auto.
Get off autopilot.
Get onto manual, right? Make things happen.
Make things happen.
Make a few little adjustments here and there and just watch what happens,
Exactly.
right? I mean, how many people do you think are on auto?
A lot.
A lot, right?
Zombie land here.
So that's the thing I'm interested in. Like when you photograph people, Do you find that there are people that you see are on auto, and then there's people that you photograph that are on manual, that are like living life? And I mean, what's the difference when you photograph those people? Do you feel that?
I feel like I've done my job well when someone came to me on auto and leave in manual.
Oh, see, that's it right there.
Like they just, I'm
they
so
woke
glad
up. You woke them up.
Yeah, like I never knew I could be like this or feel sexy or feel powerful in the
Right.
headshot or whatever it is that I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've seen both, and it's really amazing to watch the transition of people just
So sometimes that
being
happens
confident.
in the shoot itself.
Sometimes, most, yeah.
Most times.
Yeah, well, I'd say like half. I mean, a lot of people come and they're confident and ready to go, and
Right.
and then sometimes I'll throw out an idea and they're like, oh, wow, I never thought of that, or
Like climb a wall and,
Right.
be 5 feet above the pool and hope you don't fall into the pool.
and getting behind the scenes video of it all.
Yeah.
Because it almost looked like you were going to go in there.
That was pretty close. So, I
That's
mean,
hilarious.
I'm sure there's people also that, they do the shoot and they have in their mind what they're going to see ultimately in the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
And then they see the finished product and they're like, oh my God, this is so incredible.
Yeah.
That's what's cool, I think.
It is. And especially when people get emotional or
Yeah.
get teary-eyed. I mean, it's so many people want their photos taken for different reasons. They're going through different things in their life. Just family photos. Yeah, I mean, and every outcome is different. I
Right.
even edit differently for certain people. The
Interesting.
color palette may be a little desaturated for a certain group.
So when you're
or-
photographing somebody, you kind of pick up on their soul and their energy,
Yeah.
and that gets infused into how you ultimately shoot it, edit it, produce it, right?
It affects the lighting,
affects it.
and then post-production, I'll see it how it was in camera, and I might just tweak the color just a little bit to kind of carry on their message,
Right,
and
their
to
story.
make it, to bring
it's
it to
interesting.
life. Yeah,
It's funny because we do the same thing in a house, and it seems it's so much slower, but it's the exact same thing happens. That's why I like cooking, because cooking is the complete opposite. It's so fast.
true.
I can do in 2 hours what it takes me 2 years to do in a house, but the same thing happens. It's like and that's why we love to get to know our clients so much, is because it gets infused in the ultimate creation of what it is we put together for them.
Yeah, so
it's the
starts,
same thing.
It starts in one. It has like a starting point, but it evolves.
It evolves.
And I think that's so important to be flexible.
Right.
And
Listen,
maybe have
be
a little ADD. I don't know. Go off script a little bit,
Yeah.
because you know what, life isn't supposed to be
No,
like that.
it's so much more
can't-
fun the
and
other way.
Yeah, you got to lose the routine every once in a while.
Well, that's what I say with our trips. We'll set an itinerary for the day,
Oh gosh.
but I can tell you how many times we have broken that itinerary and just had some of the
Yeah.
most amazing days that we would have never had we followed the itinerary to a script.
Yeah, the best
So-
plan is no plan.
Yeah.
For me. That's cool though.
So where do we find Carrie Evans? How do we reach you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram. Let's see, Carrie Evans Photography. So at Carrie Evans Photography.
Okay.
My website is carrieevansphoto.com, and there you will find my weddings, my families.
Your Instagram's a lot of fun. I love when you go on your trips, because you do post some
Yeah,
fun
the
stuff.
Instagram is kind of personal with work. If you want to see all of my work, my website, carrieevansphoto.com, is my main site. carrieevansstudios.com is the corporate editorial work. And
Your
then
work's amazing.
And then I'm on Yelp as well. You can read all my reviews.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, which are so important.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And you're a good what's the word I'm looking for? Not social.
Network?
Networking.
Network.
You're a good networker. You're a very good networker.
It's important. And especially, most people don't want to have their photo taken. A lot of people dread it, and I think when you get to know someone or meet them, and they just feel comfortable,
Yeah.
and that's so important. It makes it easier for everybody, when you.
Yeah, and I think the thing with artists, I think a lot of artists are shy. They tend to be very anti-networking.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a it's such a part of business is marketing and being out there and making yourself known, and let your horn be tooted a little bit. You got to toot your own horn. You've got to do it, and you can do it in a very modest, humble way.
Sure.
But you have to do it. And a lot of artists, architects are horrible at it,
I know.
And I say, get your work out there. Get out there and mix and meet people. And I'm sure it's the same with photographers.
They want to hear about what you do,
Yeah.
and it's okay. And I sometimes can be a little modest like that too sometimes, because it just has to be the right moment, the right time. And if
Yeah.
someone's interested or curious, then I'm very happy to explain.
Oh, well,
and
you
talk
got a
about
great personality. You're so much fun to be around.
Thank
That's
you.
why I love working with you, because I leave charged. I leave
Good.
energized. I'm like, oh, that was so much fun. I look forward to it when you photograph. It's like, oh God, this is gonna be a fun day. Yeah, don't cancel that. Keep that on the calendar.
Oh, I love it.
No, it's very, very true. So, and your work is
That means
great.
a lot.
And so I'm hoping someday you'll have enough of pictures of Isabel and I. We can put a little book together. So
That would be fantastic.
fun,
I would
wouldn't it?
love to do that.
throw a few recipes in.
That's
and
right.
Who knows? Who knows what's ahead for us, right?
It's all about the journey.
It's all about the journey. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Thank
I hope
you
you
for
enjoyed
having
your
me.
Pinot Grigio and your Bolognese.
It was. You're so a great cook. Can't wait to be a part of your next cooking
Well, you'll be a part of the
extravaganza.
cooking class. We'll do some Asian sauces. How's that
Ooh,
sound?
fun.
All right, thanks,
I'll be
Carrie.
there. Thanks so much, Mark.
I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria design office expansion. You will have to check out our online video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.